And as we enter into this conversation, we do invite you to decide for your wealth, to decide I am wealthy, to decide I am in the flow of powerful well-being that I have summoned for myself, to decide this is the day of my great good and I will not wait another day longer for it, to decide there's nothing that is between me and what it is that I am calling forth through the powerful desires that contrast has afforded me, to decide this is the day, this is the time, and this is the place where everything comes together in perfect harmony for me, allowing me to plug in, tap in, tune in, and turn on to that powerful, powerful, powerful creative power that lives within me, that flows through me, that is me in extension, and is me from where I sit. We really do invite you to spend a moment or two or three or 5 or 10 ruminating over these things. And you can ask yourselves the question, am I really deserving of the wealth that I have called forth? Am I really, truly connected to all that is? Am I really, truly an amazing, delicious, delightful, powerful being of light? Am I really and truly the one that I want to be? Now, the universe's answer to these questions is yes, 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 and yes. And when you line up with the universe in that way, when you line up with the source of all that is, and you see yourself through that lens, through the appreciation that Source has for you automatically, normally, as a part of who you are, as a part of the you that you are bringing forth, then you know, even if it's just for a moment, that this powerful you that is coming forth and standing up and saying, I decide for my own wealth and I decide for my own powerful flow of well-being, that really great stuff is coming, not just tomorrow or the next day, but in the next minute, in the next 5 minutes, in the next 10 minutes. So we invite you not to wait. We invite you to have the feeling right now of what it feels like to have decided for your own wealth and well-being. To say to yourself, I am that which creates galaxies and worlds beyond view. I am that which created all that I am. In other words, I am that I am. We invite you to really sit in that and to bask in it and to revel in it and to see how that works in practical application. In other words, just because we're using lofty language doesn't mean we're not talking about where the next peanut butter sandwich is coming from, because it's all part and parcel of the same thing. If you have a preference for bananas on your peanut butter sandwich while your neighbor has a preference for strawberries, it doesn't really matter. Your preference is your preference, and reveling and basking in that is also part of you honoring your vast and powerful creations. For they are that vast and powerful. Even the mundane ones. In fact, we could even argue that particularly the mundane ones are the most powerful ones of all, because you have really mastered them and you do not really see any reason why they should not come forth, nor do you entertain any different viewpoint on that particular subject. We invite you to do the same thing with wealth. We invite you to treat wealth as the normal you that you are. We invite you to treat wealth and well-being as your usual state of being. To look at it and see, no, that's who I really am. That's really what's going on here. And that's really what I'm expecting. And we think what you will see, if you just even entertain that idea, if you just think, well, is that even possible? That you're going to start gathering evidence that says, oh yes, not only is it possible, but it's very real. You did not come here to this place, this delightful, delicious place, to worry and struggle and strive and fight your way and claw your way and work your way up, 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 up in some sort of endless loop that never, ever, ever finishes. You came here for the fun of it all. You came here for the joy of it all. You came here for the wealth of it all. You came here for the abundance of it all. And there is more than enough abundance, and there's more than enough wealth, and there's more than enough well-being for each and every one of you to live far beyond anything that you can imagine right now. We're not telling you how you should experience your wealth and well-being. What we're saying is that no matter what you imagine it to be, there is more than that, because in the act of imagining it, and we know that you don't really get this yet, but we know that you will, in the act of imagining your wealth and well-being, you are creating it. So if you really want to be of service to yourself and others, we would think that what you would be doing is imagining that there's an endless supply of resources available to everyone everywhere, including and particularly you. That you are the one who has come forth to decide, I am for my own wealth and well-being, and in doing so, the blessings that you bestow upon the people around you really are endless and continue to grow long after you have left this place. When you decide, I am the reason, I am the cause for my good and my well-being, you are tapping into the very source of who you are. Because when you decide that and you realize that, what you are realizing is that you are source energy and manifestation. And that is where all wealth and well-being flows from. And when you are tapped into it and you realize, hey, it's my thought that gives birth to these wonderful, delicious things, and you begin to imagine yourself reveling and basking in wealth in the way that you want it, and in all of the different forms that are meaningful to you, and in ways that feel really delicious to you, or even just ways that feel better to you from where you are, what you are literally doing is saying, this is my creation, my powerful, delicious creation, and when you walk around in your neighborhood or in your home or in your work or amongst your friends or colleagues, you become a bright, shining light, reminding them in ways that are far beyond your comprehension that they are too capable of the same thing. And you are reminding yourself, and by extension everyone around you, everyone connected to you, that there is no end to the good that can come forth. There is no end to the wealth and well-being available to you right here just on this one planet. The more you dream of it, the more there is. And the more there is, and the more you allow, the more there is to dream of. And on and on and on. And we can't think of a more delicious thing than to be dreaming of something and then to be in the midst of its manifestation. You are all powerful creators, powerful in ways far beyond your comprehension. And you really won't understand all of this until you croak, and that's just fine. But in the meantime, there are such delightful vistas to be explored and great adventures to embark upon, some of which are very close to home and some of which will take you far abroad. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is that you are wanting because you are in resonance with it, and your resonance with it is all that is necessary for it to come into your experience. So when you embrace who you are quite deliciously and quite powerfully from where you sit, you are literally creating the very thing that you are thinking about. You are literally bringing yourself to that place energetically, and you are then summoning forth into physical manifestation every good aspect of that, everything that you are in alignment with, every part of it that you find to be delicious. And so can you imagine from where you sit having your cake and eating it too in these very, very, very amazing ways? Can you imagine sitting right where you are, feeling how good it is now and how much better it's going to get? And if you can't imagine that quite yet, don't fret. All that we ask you to do, all that we really invite you to do, is to just imagine that it might be possible. That someday, somehow, you might get to that place. And even just that brings you a little bit closer. So it doesn't really matter what has brought you to this moment, and it doesn't really matter what you have done in your past and how you have done things the way that you wanted to or done things in ways that you didn't really want to. That doesn't really matter. At any given moment, you can change your mind about who you are in relationship to what you are creating. And in doing so, you can free yourself from any effect of the past and liberate yourself from the chains that have bound you to things that you didn't want in the first place. And this frees you in every moment this is possible. This frees you to turn your attention to what you want more and more and more of. And just the act of turning your attention to what you want more of, to that wealth in all of its forms that are just perfect and delicious for you, to the wonderfully powerful flow of well-being, just the act of turning your attention there is one step closer to the freedom that is your birthright, is one step closer to the very thing that you are looking at. Because now you're focusing upon it, and law of attraction being what it is, that single organizing principle of the universe is now bringing you more and more and more and more of this really, really, really good stuff. So we invite you to have it all. We invite you to roll around in it and to enjoy it in ways that you've never thought possible. We invite you to open your mind. We invite you to open your heart to the very things that you have called forth already. We invite you to embrace your creations and to bring yourself into vibrational alignment with each of them, feeling how delicious they are and how magnificent they are. And we look very much forward to all of your stories and all of the new ways of living your own life that you are going to be telling us, for we are certain they are right here, right now with you in this moment. There is no need to wait. This moment is quite perfect, and it's going to get even better than this.